Boxing King Media in association with Boxro. Delighted to be joined by former, how does that sound when I say that, former undisputed super lightweight champion Josh Taylor.
Yeah, it's not nice that hearing that. You got it, yeah. Yeah, it's not nice hearing the former, because I haven't lost my titles. I had to give them away, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm still the undisputed champ.
Will you be saving a lot on sanctioning fees though? Because a lot of fighters always moan about sanctioning fees. That's what you're saving, 3 lots of sanctioning fees.
Yeah, like, given obviously what's happened and stuff with the fight and the rematch and whatever and all that carry on, would it been literally impossible to keep a hold of the belt, a hold of all the belts without having to do my mandatories first. So I think the WBC were the first one to call it in, then the WBA straight away. So I couldn't have done the rematch straight away, and if I wanted to keep all the belts, I would have had to have done my mandatories first. And it's just they were fights that I wasn't interested in. So it's literally impossible for any fighter. It does become an undisputed champion to stay undisputed champion at the same weight, because it's not impossible, because you have to fight all the mandatories, but to get the bigger fights that you want and other big fights made, it's impossible, because the sanctioning bodies then come in and call them mandatories. So to answer your question, yes, I've saved a lot of money. This one it'll be 9% of my purse that I've saved on sanctioning fees, so alone. So yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of fans will probably wonder with regards to what you save, because it's almost like a myth. So am I right in saying it's 3% of whatever you're earning from every belt?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so it's like people say, "Oh, you win the titles and that." Oh, you do. You win the fight and you get the belts, but what you're actually really doing is you're paying for your belts, because you're paying the sanctioning fees. When I boxed Ramirez, 12% of my purse was away to sanctioning fees.
Wow. So let's just say, for example, what if you was getting paid? Let's just Saudi government said, right, Josh Taylor, we're going to pay for you to fight crazy fight, Gervonta Davis, and you had all the belts, and if they was paying you, say, 40 million. So would you have to pay 12% of that 40 million, or does it have like a cap-off point?
Well, just from my experience, it's usually 3% each sanctioning body, for the experiences that I've had. So obviously when I boxed Ramirez and Jack, 12% of my purse was away at sanctioning fees. So no matter if it was 1 million, 10 million, 20 million, you're paying 12% of your sanctioning fees away to WBO and all them. So it's 12% of your purse away. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's just, it's crazy. So people say, "Oh, you win the titles," and I says, "Yeah, I won the belts. I won the fight, but I paid for the belts. Didn't win them. You paid for them."
It makes sense why Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fought for no belts, and because they obviously got paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, you could be fighting for, say, like a light flyweight world title, where the money might not even be like 20 grand or something.
Yeah.
So it's mad.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, and I think that's what it is. It's a sanctioning fee, and that's what they do. 3% of your purse, no matter what the purse is.
Interesting stuff, man. Whilst we're talking about belts, I think it's worth mentioning this, because I don't think it's recognised enough. There's only been 9 undisputed world champions in this 4-belt era. You're one of them, and you're the first British and only British fighter to done that at the moment. I don't know if many boxing fans even know that, but do you feel like you get the recognition for that? The fact that you've achieved something so, like, 9 fighters in boxing history.
No, I don't think I do, to be honest. But I'm not the type of person that goes out looking for the recognition or seeks it. But if it had been someone else, and I hate saying this, I hate saying stuff like this, but if I had been someone else from somewhere else, south of the border maybe, with a bigger platform, then I'd have been the biggest thing since sliced bread. I've done something that no one's ever done. In the UK, let alone the world boxing, there's only me and Usyk that have become undisputed world champions in less than 20 fights. So that is a massive, massive achievement, and I don't think there'll be much more or many more fighters that can do it in that amount of time either. So I don't get the recognition and the respect that deserves, I don't think, but I'm not really too arsed about it, to be honest.
The reason I say that is it's not even just boxing fans, because I was looking at the pound for pound rankings across all, all the neutral bodies, and I think the highest I found you in was, I think, number 8 in the ESPN ranking, and a lot of them you're not even in the top 10, which is outrageous. It's mad, that, isn't it?
It's crazy, aye. One bad performance and now I'm shit, I'm done. But I'm still undefeated. And I've did things that no one else in the sport have done. So how can I not be a pound for pound candidate in the list for the things that I've achieved in the sport in 19 fights?
Well, looking at the other thing, obviously you got a lot of backlash after that win over Jack Catterall, but there's been other undisputed champions that have had close wins that people argue about. Like Tyson Fury, for example. People bring up the McDermott fight. There's other fighters who I could mention. Like, even going back to Floyd Mayweather, Castillo, some people say he lost to him, but it seems to kind of like just get buried in history.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads I could name off about 5 or 6 fights in this country alone that have been controversial, but none got the attention that one did for some reason. I don't know what it was all about, but I could name 5 or 6 fighters and fights off the bat straight away, but that's not my style, to bring people down. But it's I don't know what it is, mate, but I'm not really too fucked, to be honest. It is what it is, and I am what I am. I know what I am, and I know what calibre of fighter I am. So I let the boxing do the talking. Obviously, never done an awful lot of talking in the last fight, but that was a one-off, and that was down to me as well. My mental preparations and physical preparations as well. I never prepared properly, but you'll see what level and calibre of fighters I am in this fight and moving forward.
And moving on to that fight, but I will make a statement. Obviously you don't want to say it, but I think as an outsider looking in, I do feel like if he wasn't from Scotland, that's the way it kind of appears, because you're from Scotland, and maybe the media limelight isn't as big on you as it would be if you was from, like you said earlier, from south of the border. That's what I think anyway.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of the fact that it's because I'm Scottish or anything like that. I don't think that anything like that comes into the play. I just think that the UK media and stuff are obviously very biased towards sort of English fighters or English sports people, and you've got Lee Selby. Look at what he did in the sport. Hardly gets mentioned. Joe Kawasaki hardly gets mentioned. Ricky Burns, 3-weight world champion, never gets mentioned. If these people had maybe been from England. I mean, I hate saying this, man. It's like I don't like saying things like that. I don't know what it is, but it's just the way it is in this country. But but for me, I don't really care. I don't care for the pats on the backs. I'm doing this for myself, and I'm doing this for my family to provide a better life and a better future for my family that I'm yet to have as well. So, and the people that I'm surrounded by. I'm doing this for me and them, and I'm proud to represent my country as well, Scotland, and putting my hometown back on the map and done things that nobody's ever done, and people are proud of what I've done for where I'm from. So I'm proud to represent where I'm from and achieve what I'm achieving. So I'm not really fussed for getting the recognition and being noticed everywhere I go. And I mean, for me, I don't know anybody that in the right mind really that would want to be totally famous and go everywhere and go places, and you can't go where and just be yourself or relax, because you're always getting people coming up to you and watching you and photos and this and that and taking videos, and you feel like you were getting watched all the time. So for me, that's no a kind of life that I would like. I don't think. I quite like being, I'm well known, and I get, obviously everywhere I go I get pictures and people wanting videos and things like that, but I don't get pestered and I don't get hounded and I get left alone and stuff as well. So I quite like that. I can still go about my life, and I quite still go about in the relative way I always have. So I quite like that.
Respect to you for just getting on with it, basically. And like you said, that's all that matters. Once you're retired and done, you're secure and your family's secure. Next fight, again, like I said, I told you before off camera, Regis Prograis, Ramirez, 2 big fights that you probably don't get the credit for. Big wins. Both of them guys are still, haven't really lost since your fight. Yeah. You're fighting Teofimo Lopez, a style that you probably not faced before, maybe similar to Regis Prograis, but a different explosive fighter in his own right.
Yeah, I would say he's more. I can't say he's a better fighter or anything because I don't know yet, but I'd say he's more sort of got a different set of skills. You know, in terms of silkiness and the way he moves, um, the way he punches, explosive. He's athletic, and he looks like he carries a bit of power as well. And he's got a bit of a good boxing brain. Whereas Ramirez, I found was just more come forward, strong pressure fighter. You know, whereas I think Lopez has got a little bit more to his game, but I'll find that out. I'll find that out in 7 weeks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good, interesting fight. While it lasts, I cannot see this one going the distance at all. One of us is not seeing the final bell. I firmly believe that it's him. I'm 100% confident that I knock him out and I can knock him out early. But I just think with the two styles and the way we the matchup, I think it's got a firefight written all over it. But it could go the other way. You know, I prepare for everything. You know, so it could come out and be a highly skilled just boxing chess match and outmanoeuvring each other, outthinking each other. But I just think with his mentality and the way he boxes, it can be a real exciting fight.
Definitely. So it's a fact that nobody really saw coming. I think you talked about it, and then before you knew it, it was made. Am I right in saying you guys had never met? You never really met in person before, never faced off. So it'd be interesting to see how you react. Do you think that you'll kind of explode? Because I get the feeling he's a fiery character, and you certainly can talk as well. So you might clash at the press conference.
No, believe it or not, I'm okay. I'm fine. Believe it or not, I'm quite level-headed. It's just in fight week, I just get like I'm just ready to fight on fight week. You know, with the training's done, the diet's done, the hard bits. Obviously, the last bit of fight week, and it's all done now. You're all just ready to go, and you're all pent up and ready to fight and release that energy. So, I'm not really caring. There's lots of times for that to go, but don't get me wrong. If it goes that way, it goes that way. I'm not really fussed what way it goes. I'd rather just go, all right, mate. May the best man win. Shake hands. But it hardly ever goes that way. The last couple of times, but yeah, I just get ready to fight, and I'll just take it as it comes, really.
And Teofimo, he's done an interview in the last couple of days. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Have you seen the one where he's obviously made comments about Timothy Bradley, Andrew Ward, about how, in his words, they're biased towards black fighters on ESPN, and he kind of also suggested that he won't be fighting on ESPN again because he feels they favour black fighters. Did you see them comments, or what did you make of them?
I've seen bits of it. It's kind of. I just think it's a bit pathetic. Look at me, pay more attention to me, please. Begging for attention. Maybe feels he's not getting enough attention that he thinks he's worth, or something like that. But trying to race bait, basically, call people out for preferring playing a race card, effectively. I just think it's just a joke, really, isn't it? It's like it's a bit pathetic for me. I just think it's what's the point in that completely. And utter tit of a guy. I don't think he's all there, to be honest. I don't think. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I thought it was really random and really silly, stupid. Really, I thought it was really, really random. I don't know why he would come away and say something like that.
Do you think it could be just tactics, maybe, to plant that seed with the commentators on the night as to what they've got to say, maybe because they might be conscious of what they say?
Well, if that was me, I would be thinking, well, if I say something like that, I'm just going to piss them off. I'm just going to, all right, fuck you then. You know, he's maybe saying it because he knows he's up against it. He knows he's up against a good fighter. So if he gets beat, he's like, oh well, wasn't he? It's sort of half painting that picture anyway. You know, I don't know what his thing is behind it, but I just thought it was a real uncalled for. Just fucking stupid, wasn't it? Just I don't know what it was all about, really. It's just mad. Just don't know.
Yeah, I don't think many people are expecting it. When do you fly to New York, Josh? And are you going to give yourself, a good few weeks to acclimatise?
Yeah, I'm flying out a couple of weeks beforehand. 2 weeks beforehand. You know, obviously, I've been out to New York before when I was in the same camp with Frampton. Obviously, so I'm using that experience of I think he boxed Santa Cruz, and I believe it was sort of July time, if I remember correctly, and New York was boiling. You know, just really humid and really just close, feeling close with the humidity. And it was just, I felt I was walking around with a t-shirt on, and I had to go into like 4 different shops to get a change of t-shirt because I was just sweating really badly, just so hot. So I'm going over a couple of weeks beforehand just to get used to the heat and the humidity. Obviously the arena's going to be air conditioned and things like that, but it's the training and walking around in the city and every day to day just to get a little bit acclimatised to that. The time difference isn't too bad. It's only 5 hours behind, so that'll not be an issue, I wouldn't say. But it would be the temperatures and the heat I need to get used to.
Good stuff, man. And I just want to quickly touch on Gervonta Davis. I'm guessing you watched the fight, and there's suggestions that you might move up to super lightweight. I know you got Teofimo in front of you, but it must excite you potential of if you beat Teofimo, mega fights with Gervonta Davis down the line.
Yeah, there is. Listen, whatever fight I'm going to be in now is a big fight. So I'm like I said, you can never rule anything out. I think Gervonta's maybe a little bit too small for 140, but he can sure as hell bang and carries power. He looks strong. I thought he was very good that fight there against Garcia. Thought it could have went a little longer. I thought, going off subject there, I actually think that Garcia actually quit. But he just because, and I think he quit because he wasn't getting anything his own way. Gervonta Davis just cancelled him out in every single department of the game. I thought it was a good performance. But yeah, it's exciting times ahead. The division is heating back up. I've got big fights there for me. Whatever direction I go, there's nothing but big fights for me now. So I am excited. It's definitely exciting times.
Good stuff, man. And the last thing I want to speak to you about, Josh, is Ken Buchanan. I read something, just for fans who don't know, he passed away recently, a Scottish boxing legend. I read recently where you met him through his brother, I think it was. And was it a case you didn't know who he was at the time? Just kind of tell me about that moment.
Yeah, well, what it was is one of my first boxing coaches was from my area, Preston Pans, Raymond Fraser Buchanan. And I had a couple of fights, and I was sort of looking for a sort of half like a coach to sort of help me with stuff. And a few of my pals and that were like, "What about Big Raymond?" and blah blah blah. I had never met him before, and got known him and started to come on and started to coach me. And he then told me all about his dad, or about that Ken Buchanan was his dad. Obviously, I'd never heard of him before. Started giving me all these old tapes and watching them of Ken Buchanan, and I just thought, this is brilliant, this is amazing. And then from then on, I moved on. I moved boxing gyms. I was at a Meadowbank, then I moved to Lock End, where I am now, with Coach Terry and stuff. And I was in training in the gym for the day, and this older guy comes in and was watching me on the bags and started giving me all these bits of advice and bits of tips, and how to do this on the bag and how to use my shoulders and my front hand, and just giving me bits of advice, and then telling me how to live life and go for it and blah blah blah. And I was thinking, who's this? And then he started sort of tapping away a wee bit, and I thought, I kind of have recognised his face, but he was a little bit older and grey hair, and I thought, I recognise him, but I don't know who he is. And he left and he went away, and I said to the coach Terry, I says, who was that come in there? He went, so that was Ken Buchanan. I was like, what? No way. Jesus Christ. I was all excited and that. And then since that day, he started coming into the gym then more often, and then he started coming in every other day and doing wee bits of training and training away and hitting the bags and doing the pads with Terry and stuff like that. And I got talking to him all the time and really got to know him pretty well. And it was great. It was awesome to get to know him and hear his stories and share his experiences with me, and give me a bit of advice and looking forward, and telling me that I could become world champion and that I could do it. And after I won the titles against Prograis, he come down to my house and shook my hand, gave me a cuddle, and gave me his Buchanan tartan and stuff. I've got around the trophy and stuff in my house and that. And then I went away I said to him, I've got one more and I'll be just like you. I'll bring them home just like you, champ. I'll do it for you. And he says, I know you can do it. I'll go and do it. And then I went away and boxed Ramirez. And then he come back to my house afterwards. And I says, I told you I'm just like you, champ. He says, I know you could do it. And gave me a cuddle. And unfortunately, that was the last time I saw him. He was beginning to sort of decline a little bit in health-wise. But that was the last time I saw Kenny in person and spoke to him in person. So, nothing but great and amazing memories of the legend that is Ken Buchanan.
Any particular quote or line that he said to you? Because I know legendary old fighters always have like things that they say to fighters, pass on advice. Is there anything that he specifically told you that you remember, hold dear to yourself?
No, really, no anything like sort of specific. It was just the way things he used to just tell me, just like do it right. Like if you're going to do it right. Live the life, live it properly. Give it your all. It's too hard a game to be doing it half-hearted, and you can get hurt. He says if you're going to do it. Do your running. Do your grab work. Do it. Just work. Do it all the time. It's too hard a game, and just giving me bits of advice and stay away from the women and the drink and all that, like the old men and that. But it just give me good bits of advice on how to train and how to live life. Just live a good, clean life, and just to always give me good advice like that.
That was a secret to his success, and hopefully any of the fighters watching that will pick up on that as well. Joshua, appreciate your time. All the best in New York. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Yeah, nothing, mate. Just thanks for your time and thanks for having me on your channel, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers,
Thank you, brother.